Our goal at Aerie is to develop Aerie into a major pharmaceutical company. Of course, we're starting in ophthalmology, and the three building blocks for our strategy are listed on this first slide. Now, the first building block, of course, is entering the U.S. glaucoma market that Michael just spoke a little bit about. We have one product that has recently been approved, Rhopressa, and one product that very soon will file its NDA. The second building block involves geographic expansion and taking those glaucoma assets and moving them into the second and third largest glaucoma markets around the world. And then finally, we'll enter a new market, the retina market for us, with our third building block, and that's the retina market, and where we have two preclinical products and two interesting enabling technologies. Now, a little more detail. Now, the U.S. glaucoma market. This is the largest prescription eye drop market in ophthalmology. Generates over $3 billion annually, and also generates over 60 million bottles each year. About half those units, or around 30 million units, are for products that are given adjunctively to prostaglandins. That's Rhopressa's primarily competitive market. Those products are 20 to 40 years old, the vast majority of which require 2 or 3 times a day dosing for maximum effect, and they all cause very serious systemic side effects. Rhopressa will compete in that primary market. Rhopressa was approved by the FDA in mid-December. That's 2 months after the FDA Advisory Committee voiced their endorsement for Rhopressa by voting 19 of 20 votes in favor of Rhopressa. We've completed 3 phase 3 trials for Rhopressa, and in each of those trials, Rhopressa dosed just once a day was shown to be not inferior to Timolol dosed twice a day, which is a very good result. From an AE perspective, the most common AEs, including hyperemia, conjunctival hemorrhage, and corneal verticillata, were mostly mild. They're also self-limiting, and of course, they're self-resolving, and had no impact on visual function. So they're seen as very easily manageable. Our launch is just about into full gear now. We've hired our entire commercial team. You might find this interesting. We posted 115 sales management positions on a website. For those positions, we received over 5,300 resumes and applications vying for those positions. So an awful lot of interest out there, no doubt about it. Our pre-launch, peer-to-peer educational programs have been exceptionally well attended. We've had over 600 physicians that have attended either our HES symposium or our national broadcast to learn out more about our product. We're out pre-sampling now to many of the top physicians in the country. And again, our reps will hit the field the first week in May, so we're quite excited. Now, Roclatan is our fixed-dose combination product that contains Rhopressa as well as latanoprost. In the 2 phase 3 trials that we've completed, Roclatan demonstrated statistical superiority over each of the 2 components at each of the 9 time points in each of the 2 trials, so remarkable consistency in the trials. That's very good news. From an AE perspective, the most common AE was conjunctival hyperemia, but as we saw with Rhopressa, the vast majority of the time, it is very mild, therefore it's very manageable by the physician. The other AEs were common to either Rhopressa or latanoprost, again. So good news is there's no new surprises in the AE front. Now this chart shows a responder analysis from one of our phase 3 trials. So this is data at month 12, and it shows the proportion of patients in each of the 3 arms that achieve certain levels of IOP lowering. So it goes from 18, obviously, down to 14 millimeters mercury or less. And as you can see, each step along the way, the proportion of patients in the Roclatan arm was statistically superior to that of either of the individual components. If you go all the way to the left of the slide, down to the proportion of patients that got to 14 millimeters of mercury or less, you can see that better than 1 in 4, 27% of the Roclatan patients were able to achieve that, versus only 1 in 8 of the latanoprost patients. So quite a very good performance for both Rhopressa as well as Roclatan. Now, our second building block was geographic expansion. We have 3 key activities going on in Europe. We'll follow our MMA for Rhopressa by the end of this year. Second thing is we'll continue to enroll our phase 3 trial, which compares Roclatan to Ganfert, which is a fixed-dose combination product, very popular in Europe and high-priced. And finally, we'll continue the construction of our manufacturing facility, which will begin producing units in the year 2020. For the Japan market, we are enrolling our phase 1 and phase 2 trials here, the results of which we think will enable us to go into Japan next year with our phase 3 program. Now, the final building block, of course, is the Retina program. There we have, as I said, 2 preclinical product candidates. 13503 is our multi-kinase inhibitor for the treatment of wet AMD as well as diabetic retinopathy. In the preclinical work that we've done so far, the product has demonstrated very good effectiveness, either as monotherapy or, importantly, as an adjunct to anti-VEGF therapy as well. And I'll show you a slide in just a second. 1105 is our dexamethasone steroid product, and we plan on filing our IND at the end of this year to enable us to go into clinical trials next year. Now, we also have access to two technologies based on formalized relationships. With DSM, we make sustained-release drug-eluting implants that are compatible with our products and have the right elution rate. Those will be fine, and you can see a picture of one on the penny on the left, in the right. And then through Envisia, we have access to the print technology that we acquired the ophthalmic rights to manufacture the implants that we make through DSM. Now, this is the one piece of clinical data that I said I'd show. So this shows the diabetic retinopathy model in the mouse, and what this compares is Eylea to 13154. Now, 13154 is a precursor molecule to 13503, the molecule I've been talking about. So 13503 is simply the active metabolite, so it's the same product. If you look at the chart, the two bars in the middle, you can see it's monotherapy, 13154, 13503 in this case, match the equivalent or the effectiveness of Eylea. If you go to the far right, you can see that used in conjunction, the performance was far better than either Eylea or 13503. So we're quite excited about what this is showing so far. I'll end with perhaps a very early stage fourth building block that is forming for our company. This shows you some of the type of thinking that we have, but we have a library of over 3,000 Rho-kinase inhibitors at Aerie. Rho-kinase inhibitors are known for their anti-fibrotic nature and many other characteristics that could be valuable for the conditions listed on the right of the screen. That is pulmonary indications, dermatology indications, like psoriasis, certainly cancer. So we're actively screening our library to come up to see what molecules might be applicable for those diseases listed. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll turn the mic back over. Thank you.